Hello, hello. Welcome back to Weekly Tips and Tactics. This week we are talking about personal validation. And I know for some people it is a really difficult thing to do, and they're working really hard at figuring out how to do it, when to do it. Others think that it is a self-absorbed process, which I'm going to challenge you to change that perspective. And other people just don't think to do it at all. In fact, they generally focus on the things that don't go well or the places that they're struggling or facing challenges. But here's the deal. If we focus on validating ourselves for moving through an uncomfortable situation gracefully, we validate ourselves for having the right headspace or thought process, we validate ourselves for speaking up and sharing our thoughts, feelings, emotions, opinions, needs, wants, desires. If we condition these things, if we validate these things by giving them acknowledgement, it's not necessarily, like this big, huge praise, but, a little pat on the shoulder and a little acknowledgement goes a long way. So here's the deal. Here's how I teach this to become part of a daily practice. Get up in the morning, we set an intention for the day. This might be to, hey, acknowledge myself today. I want to pay attention to what's working well in my life. Anyway, and then as you go through your day, you want to stop and pause every couple of hours and say, what's working well for me? What's my core non-physical feeling right now? What's driving it? How can I capitalize on it? How can I tweak it to feel better, look better, and so on and so forth. You also want to look at, again, what's working well, why? You got to know why. You have to ask yourself those questions, why? And do the same at the end of the day. Wow, what went well today and why? What category did it fall into? We always want to break things down into categories, right? Like that conversation went well. Why did it go well? How can I, repeat that? How did that meeting go? How did that exercise, session go? How did that, whatever it is, right? Break your day down into categories and look at, how was my listening today? How was my fertile listening today, right? How was my active listening? How was my participation? How was my conflict resolution, right? Really look at yourself and how you're doing these things. And wow, you know what? I moved through that difficult situation quite eloquently. I sat in that uncomfortable with grace and dignity. I showed up and was helpful, but I didn't do it at my own expense. That's a win, right? So look for all of your little wins, and there's a purpose for this. It's one, esteem building, confidence building, but it's also conditioning better ways of functioning and being and doing as your way of operating, versus spending all of your time and effort focusing on what didn't go as well as we had hoped, or what's not working, or what feels ugly, or what doesn't feel right. So give it a try. Let me know if you're struggling. I can help you create a seamless process that is filled with personal validation throughout your days and your weeks, so that you can start to see all of your wonderful growth, but also see the sides of you that don't generally get your attention.